What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is The Flash Season 3, Episode 3, Magenta. This was a fairly interesting episode, solely because we have a bit of a different villain in this one. Alchemy is still the main villain going on, but he recruits a villain that is not your typical villain. And it's not like I've never seen this done before, where the villain that is recruited is actually a good guy who's just doing bad things for bad reasons type stuff. We actually had one similar, I think, in the first season. There was a woman who was, anything she touched became a bomb, I believe. And it was kind of like she was a villain, but it wasn't her fault. It was somebody else's fault. This one, it's a bit different because she has kind of this split personality thing going on. And the one side of her personality is evil and wants to kill people. And then kind of like Magneto a little bit, can control metal. They didn't really touch on why she's able to do that, but she can. But then, of course, the other side of her doesn't want to do that. She doesn't want to be evil. She doesn't want to hurt anybody. But because of what Alchemy did to her and because of her abusive father, adopted father, she wants to fight back. She wants to stop him from hurting her and her adopted mother. So you kind of understand the reasoning of why she became this way. And so it's a bit different in how they have to stop her. It can't just be, oh, let's just go punch her and that'll stop. No, they actually have to talk her down. They have to change her attitude and get her back to being who she was before. So I like that, and how they executed it was very well done, I thought. Aside from that, though, you have some other side stories going on. Jesse and Harrison Wells are both back. Jesse is now a speedster, Jesse Quick, and I find that interesting solely because it kind of lends to the idea that Wally is going to become Kid Flash in this season. We already saw him in the first episode, and if things keep going how they're going, it looks like he's probably going to go to Alchemy after he starts having these dreams about being Kid Flash. He's probably going to go to Alchemy because he wants to restore his powers from the other timeline, and that's how he's going to become Kid Flash. It's a matter of, does everybody who gets their powers from Alchemy, does everybody turn evil, or is this going to be kind of like a jealousy thing of Barry, like, oh, Barry, you don't want me to have powers, but you have your own. I feel if they go that route, if they go the jealousy route, I'm going to be a bit pissed off because it doesn't make much sense. Like, even what he does in this episode, Joe talks to him, it seems like he's completely fine, and then a few minutes later he's walking out in front of a car to try to get Flash powers. Are you serious? Like, it feels a bit unrealistic from him. It feels like he's being a spoiled brat in all of this. You know, oh, Jesse got her powers through danger. Well, I'm going to go get my own powers through danger. Really? It doesn't make much sense. I feel like it makes the character seem a bit weaker. I don't like what they're doing with that right now. And if they carry through with this, like I said, most likely that's how he's going to get his Kid Flash powers. Alchemy is going to help him get him back from the other timeline. It feels like, that would make him a good guy, or it should, because he was a good guy in the other timeline. And yet, I don't know, I feel like the way this is going right now is going to turn him into a bad guy, and that's going to be who Barry's going to end up facing off against. Now, if it's going to be an Alchemy controls him type thing, that might be better, but I don't know, I feel like the best thing they could do with him becoming Kid Flash is Alchemy helps him, tries to convince him to turn against Barry and everybody else, and he says, no, I'm going to stop you, now that you've helped me. Or, something along those lines. Like, he tricks Alchemy into giving him the power, saying, I'll work for you, and then uses his powers to stop Alchemy. That would be a bit more interesting and a bit more well done than just, oh, he gets his powers, and now he's fighting against Barry, because Barry always needs a speedster to fight, right? So, anyway, that's a storyline I feel like they're building up for this season, and Jesse getting speedster powers is just another part of it. The fact that Harrison and Jesse are back, a little bit interesting. I do like Harrison Wells as a character. I think he brings something to the team that they lack whenever he's not there. Like, he's sort of a stick in the mud, but he also has these moments where, when he's not being a stick in the mud, it's kind of funny, like, there's just, the only thing that I will say that did get on my nerves a little bit is him saying not at the end of everything. Like he says something and then not. Really? And they make a joke about it, like, oh, is that still a thing on Earth too? And Jesse's like, no, it's just him. But why? Why is he saying that? That doesn't make any sense to me. Why on Earth 2 is he the only one that uses that stupid phrase? It kind of knocks down his character a little bit, because before he's just kind of a badass, awesome dude who's also kind of a stick in the mud, but means well. And now he's just kind of like, oh, of course I want her to be a superhero. Not. That just knocks down his credibility a lot. But it is nice to have him back. It's nice to have Jesse back too, because there is kind of an interesting kind of relationship between her and Wally. I don't know if they're going to go that route or not. It seems like they at least have a very good friendship, and it gives Wally somebody to talk to on a normal level. Like, whenever he's talking to Iris or Joe, it always feels like it's some sort of family problem. Whenever he's talking to Barry, it always feels like it's about superheroing or something along those lines. It's nice to see him have just an ordinary friend that he can talk to about stuff. Of course, in this episode, they're talking about her speed powers, but maybe that'll change. But yeah, it's nice to have them back. We've also got kind of... I like the fact that when Harrison is talking to everybody about, you need to, talking to Cisco, can you go talk to Jesse? Talking to Caitlin, can you go talk to Jesse? He's trying to get everybody to do it. When he asks Caitlin to go talk to Jesse, I love how she has this little speech about trying to accept her with her powers, not trying to hinder her powers. And we caught a little glimpse at the end of last episode how she's got her Killer Frost powers in this timeline now. It's kind of interesting that they didn't even show it. It's like I like the fact that it's almost like they expect us to think about that whenever she's reading this line. Like, there was no sort of, oh yeah, I've got powers too. There's no, like, as she's walking away, she sees her hand freezing or anything like that. They're like, our audience is smart enough. They saw that she has Killer Frost powers in the last one. So now that she's saying this, it's like they expect us to be smart enough to make that connection. And I feel like most of us probably did. And I like that. Not many shows trust their audiences to make that connection nowadays. They're just like, okay, we need to explain this just in case for some reason they didn't watch the last episode, now they're watching this one out of nowhere. We need to make sure that they know that she has Killer Frost powers when she's saying all this, so they can make sure they tie the parallel in, and now we seem smart, but we have to explain to them because they're stupid. I hate it when shows do that. I hate it when they have to explain it to us because they don't think we're smart enough to figure it out. I get it. I understand what she's saying. I understand that she's got a personal connection to this now that she didn't have before. I get it, and it worked perfectly. I thought it was a very well said line. I thought it tied in perfectly to the story, so I'm excited to see where they're going with that storyline as well, because who knows what she's going to become. Is she going to become just like Killer Frost, cold-hearted, doesn't want to be around anybody, or is she actually going to be like good Killer Frost? How would that even work? It'd be interesting to see like a good guy Killer Frost, but anyway. Yeah, really, really good episode. Really enjoyed the climax at the end. I mean, when Magenta is lifting the freaking freighter out of the bay, it was just like, oh, she's gonna drop a whole ship on top of the hospital. That's awesome. Love how they decided to figure it out. Have Barry run around in figure eight, sort of create a propeller to hold up the ship. I love how they handled this entire final scene with it. It just all worked out really, really well. The other thing to talk about that I actually forgot to talk about in the last review, Julian. The new guy works with Barry in the forensic place for metahumans. He's kind of an interesting character. In the last episode, I felt like he was just sort of there as sort of Barry, here's your new partner that you didn't have in the last timeline, but he's here now, and now you got to work with him, and he's kind of a stick in the mud, and he doesn't like you, so now you got to deal with it. We're finding out in this episode he's a lot smarter than we originally thought. Like, he just seemed like he's just there, and he may have caught on to Barry doing something with the samples, stealing one of the samples. He caught on to that, but In this one, we see he's really, really smart. Like, they're all they're doing, they're just talking about what happened to Magenta's father or adopted father, and he just instantly becomes suspicious. Like, was it really another metahuman? Goes and takes her water so he can run some tests on it, and figures out that she's actually the metahuman. Just like, see, that's interesting. The fact that all it took was just a few little ideas, a few little hints, and he's got it. He knows what happened. And I wonder if he purposefully provoked her to see if he could get the reaction that caused her to become a metahuman, or if he just went out there to confront her and see if she'll confess. But either way, I thought it was a very interesting take to have on this character because now that makes him a lot more interesting. He's clearly very, very smart. The only thing I'm worried about is because he is the new character in the series, I'm worried that we're going to get that he's alchemy. I can't imagine that's actually it because it felt like in the last episode, 1 minute Barry's with Julian, and then the next moment he's where Rival is, and Alchemy is there too. So unless he can teleport, I can't imagine them being the same person. But it kind of feels like why else would you bring him in than for him to be the bad guy? So I hope they don't go that route. That'd be way too obvious, way too cliche. Maybe they'll trick us into think they're going that route just to not go that route. We'll see what's going to happen. But yeah, I'm really excited for this season. It's starting to pick up. Really, really starting to get the story going. So, really good. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Let me know what you liked and disliked about this episode. Let me know what you want to see in the future. Leave a like and subscribe for future Flash reviews, and I'll see you at the next one. Peace out.